Hi guys, little sales training. I'm going to try to go quickly today because we have two topics I want to cover. One is at Ron's request. The other was kind of at Cam's, but they're both things that we've discussed in the last few weeks that have been helpful in our little world, so hopefully it will be in yours as well. Remodels. Want to review the most efficient remodel sales format that we've run into. Simply put, there's nothing easier in the world than being able to go to somebody's house. Anyone will let you come to their house as a rule. I mean, they really will. And they're more than happy to let you drive to them versus them drive to you. That is a big hassle. That is a huge mistake. You don't want to start at their home. You want them to get your basic information. You want to get them in your office for a presentation. And yes, remodel presentations usually go a little bit quicker. But on this, I'm going to skip and go a little faster than normal. And I'm going to assume the basics of the presentation. In the remodel presentation, much like a new home, you've done all the normal stuff. There's very little difference. The difference is you're talking a remodel. And just as with a new home, even though you don't have anywhere near enough info to give them a guesstimated budget, you do give them a guesstimated budget, you're going to do the same on a remodel. And if you don't know how, I hope that I remember to ask Ron Evans to include some sheets. We dug up some remodel budgeting sheets that you can use. I don't like you using them in front of a client in initial presentation. I think it gives too much away. But if you have to, go ahead. I would strongly encourage you to use these estimating sheets just to practice on some until you start to get the rough formula in your head. Because remember, when you guesstimate a number, you're going to have a $50,000 swing. I mean, it's the old, I think it's going to be $90,000. And you're going to look at them and you're going to say, I don't know where we're going to end up. I've got to see the job. We've got to be able to figure out where you're going to go. You could be as low as 65, 70. Could be high as 120, 125. Realistically, based on what little info I have, not having seen the house, not discussing your taste, not knowing anything other than just verbal, I guess you're probably going to be somewhere around 85, 90, 95. But, I mean, I'd really have to look at it. What was your goal? What were you trying to be at? Boom. I just ranged myself from $65,000 to $125,000 with zero commitment on a job I think would be 90. I'm pretty stinking safe. But I stepped up, I made a commitment, I got them to come in. This is very important because you need to have confirmation because we are going to close. We are not going to end the presentation without closing the client. Because here's the deal. As a rule, it is very difficult to sell a remodel that you've never been to. It's very difficult to sell a remodel without seeing the site. You would love to look at them and say, hey, coming out and looking at that, giving you an estimate is what we get paid for. You got to write us a check, yada, 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 yada. And you're absolutely right. And if you're a better salesman than the rest of us, you can do that. But trust me when I tell you, you're going to miss a couple sales if you hold to that format. The reality is you kind of need to see it. But what your quirk is, again, everyone in the world is more than happy to accept the close of, well, I'm going to come out and take a look and give you an estimate. Okay, great. The problem is you committed to give free crap and you've gotten no commitment from them. They're committed to nothing. So at your sales presentation in your office, as you go through everything and you do your WAG, and as it's at the end and you get to next steps, you're going to close them. You're going to look at them and say, in your own words, the following. All right, well, our next step is I need to come out and probably bring one of my field guys, and we need to take a look at the job, get an idea for what we're really looking at, make sure we're in line with your goals and everything else. Is there a good day for you on that? All right, now, just to be Tuesday at 3, that'll be perfect. All right, I will be there. Now, to be clear, if I come out and this does line out like we expect it to be, I'm going to be bringing an agreement with me and your planning manual, and we're going to sign the contract and collect a check while we're there. Is that correct? If you want a little softer, you look at them and this is a softer way. I like stronger, but some people, they pucker and they back up and they don't do anything. So about the softest you can do is, all right, our next step is to come out and look at the project and make sure everything's in line. And if it is, then get started. Are y'all ready for us to come out and get going? And if you do that even softer and you're not sure, then the next follow-up with them is, we're probably going to need a designer just to verify. Now, if we come out and everything is in line and is what we're expecting, or at least it lines up with what your goals are, we're going to be bringing an agreement and getting started and cutting a check. Do you want me to go ahead and bring the designer so he can go ahead and get started and you can pay him at the same time as well? That is my favorite close because it puts the onus on somebody else, but it also states very clearly we are getting started, we are writing checks, we're getting going. But the reality is, I don't care which of those extremes or in the middle you want to go to, you need them to commit that when you are coming out to site, you are coming out to respectfully verify that in person it matches what was discussed and decided in words. But if it is, we're moving forward. And by the way, any response other than yes, this is classic go back sales. This isn't even sales 101. This is sales remedial. If the answer is anything other than yes, then bing, we go back because they are not sold and you start selling again. You love a no because what a no tells you is you failed the first time out. It's okay to fail the first time out because there's an endless number of swings of the bat as long as you don't let them leave. So a no, great. Well, boom, now we go right back to selling all over again until the answer is yes. We go for the same close again, no, bing, zoom, all the way back and start all over because the answer will be yes. We will not quit selling till the answer is yes. Then you go out to the site, you walk around, you possibly have your designer there with you, you make your notes, you discuss it, you reaffirm the client, you get their trust. In our case, we always take a field consultant with us just to make sure there's not something quirky we're missing, and we just wow them with facts. And everything's real gentle and easy, as always, until money's changing hands. And then you just look at them and go, all right, y'all ready to get started? And more often than not, I walk around with the planning manual with contract in my hand the whole time just so it's subconsciously being put there. If that makes you uncomfortable, it's too bulky, you can just say you're ready to get started and then go to the car. By the way, once again, remedial sales. Any answer other than yes, bing, spin all the way back around and keep selling because we're not leaving without a signed contract and a check. We did not drive here for anything else. And if they have an easy out, like, well, you bet as soon as we get our loan, then dude, you should have taken that one down before. You should have done a good enough job in your initial presentation, know a loan mattered. You should have made sure they had the loan taken care of before you wasted your valuable friggin' time driving out to look at the property. Get all these done because you are not going there and leaving without a check. Because if you do, you screwed up, they sold you. That's not your job. You're the salesperson, not them. So, are you going to truly sign 100% of your remodels? Nah. Of the remodel leads you get, you should sign half of them. Of the remodels that you go out and quote unquote wag or guesstimate or whatever you want to call it, you should sign 2/3. So if you're doing the math, about 25% of your remodel leads are garbage, and about 1/3 of the rest, for whatever reason, you didn't want to sign them or they didn't want to sign you or whatever. But 2/3 of the ones that come in your office that you go to see, you're going to sign. And about 75% of them you're going to bring in. If you do your weeding right, you won't have a whole lot of the dogs come in the door. By the way, what is a dog? A dog is exclusively, I need to have somebody change out the toilet in my bathroom. My refrigerator's leaking and I was thinking of redoing the floors in the kitchen. That's a dog. A dog needs to go call a plumber or call a flooring company. It's not what you're looking for. Another ways to define a dog is a remodel that's going to be less than $50,000. You really don't want to mess with a remodel that's going to be less than $50,000. You can go as low as 30 or 35, but you don't want to. As a rule, if it's not 50,000 or more, you don't want it. It's not your cup of tea. It belongs to somebody else. So that is the basics of remodel sales. I probably went a little too long. My apologies. Next half of this, and this is at Ron's request, I'm not going to do as good a job. This is one of those for somebody needing an explanation, and a metaphor came and it flowed beautifully. But the question was, why are we truly more valuable than anybody else? Why, as you build it, a better product? Granted, and I always go back, I love to tell the story. Robert Raditz, I hope you're watching this, because I love to tell the story of you and I at training, standing out under that old cedar tree at the old office in Kirkland, Washington, and you looked at me and you said, "Bob, what do you think we're selling?" And I said, "Honestly, Robert, I think we're selling price." And it was one of my favorite moments because you did that great thing you do where you just got all excited and slapped your thigh and said, "God dang it, Bob, yeah, you're right, that's what we're selling, ain't it?" And I said, "Yeah," and we had a blast and we laughed and we talked and we said, the reality is what we're selling is price. And there's enough truth to it, and we dominate so much on price that we forget at times and think all we're selling is price. And we're not. We're selling freedom and we're selling quality. But truth, we're selling a better friggin' product. One of the craziest things about the price is we forget just how incredibly valuable just being 5% less is. We get obsessed with the 15 to 25% savings, as if anything less isn't a good deal. Are you kidding me? Even 5% on even a piddly $200,000 house is 10 grand. How many people got 10 grand laying around that they don't care about? But we act as if we got to save 50. Good gosh, why? And that's okay because I still do, and we still do, and it's neat, and the system does provide for it. But we get a little bit too caught up in the price. Jumping back in before I run too far down that rabbit hole, but here's the truth. If you have me, or you have, here we go, I'm coming back, Joey the general contractor, and I can't save him a dime. There's no price savings. It's the exact same house at the exact same price. True apple to apple. I challenge you beyond a shadow of a doubt, better quality. Absolutely 100% of the time. And you say to me, why? Because trust me, a lot of you are like, it's neat to say about the bullshit because that guy does the work for me. Whatever. True apple to apple job. How many times is Sissy the client going to be on site? Every damn day. How many times is Sissy the client going to want to review stuff? Every damn day. But if there's something Sissy doesn't like, what is her power and control here? None at all. Now, realistically, most general contractors are pretty good people, and they will listen and they will adjust and they will adapt. Some will charge, some won't. Some will listen, some won't. But at the end of the day, here, absolute, complete, total control with a professional expert to support and back them up because they're in charge. That's massively valuable. But even that is not why. Even that you can take and set aside and go, don't care, doesn't matter. Here is 100% of the time why we are dominantly better. I don't care about price. I don't care about control. I don't care about time. If you walk into a grocery store and there are 2 loaves of bread and they are the exact same bread, they came out of the exact same batch of ingredients, the exact same oven, the exact same everything. They're the exact same price. Everything is 100% exactly the same, period, bar none, with the following exception. This bread has a complete list of ingredients. This bread does not. Which bread's better? Dominantly better product. Absolute complete control. Dominantly better price. You gotta be freaking kidding me. As my friend Micro Bear said to me 13 years ago, if you know about it, you build it, and you don't sign, you gotta be on crack. We are the greatest gift, the greatest product in the history of the friggin' world. Short of salvation in Jesus Christ, and I'm not kidding. Short of your eternal soul, we are the greatest thing ever listed. Welcome to paradise, baby. So, should we be easy to sell? Yeah. The hardest part of selling, you build it. I've said this forever. The hardest part of selling, you build it. Well, first off is not being a moron. But second is we're so too good to be true that you got to be careful how you give it to folks. Because it's almost like a bright light, somebody coming out of a cave. It can be too much. So that's it in a nutshell, guys. Thank you. I hope that helped. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.